going with the Sunday school type motif today. Do not have a prepared written statement. I'm repairing a vase for a friend. Welcome, everybody, to Mud Flood Was Armageddon, Sunday School Edition. Mud Flood Was Armageddon. Do not let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. A lot of the short season stuff going around. They are infighting. I saw Theron trashing the lunchbox crew. John Levy, that's easy to do, but getting after Jason Jack, I got this whole Nephilim Gibberim thing. First Chronicles, Second Samuel. We're going to start with maybe what you could consider more obscure parts of the Old Testament. Kind of let you know there's a lot of things there to study while I feel you're wasting your time doing the apocryphal when it does seem some with itching ears, you know, they're not listening, reading the Bible, doing those things. But if you're not in that category, you don't want to hear about these type of things, that is entirely up to you. Uh I might as well show the disclaimer and see if I have got any of the screenshots. It doesn't look like I took any screenshots. Well, I took this one and then I cropped it. Is this a new one or an old one? Oh, I did look at a little bit of Washington, D.C. being built on a swamp. Here is what was projected on a looks like a pretty fake map. This is where I think the Washington Monument is. They turned this, man, one more, a little bit fixed it up. Something about the next bioweapon mRNA. So this was something I was watching today. Modern synthetic biology and AI represent both medicine's greatest breakthrough and warfares, plural, or possessive, most terrifying evolution. Only 284, but the pirate vagabond, I've had a couple of his videos come up, and this guy is working hard. He's not War on the Rocks, but it was interesting. So there was some pictures to look at. Now we're going to go to the Sunday school class. Hola! Look at your little terrier. I am not terrified of the terrier. You don't hear a lot about David's officers. We'll look at some of that. Now, King David, I mean, people trembled in fear. David struck down 22,000 of their men, garrisons. Damascus, we know that's Star Fort. Arameans bringing him tribute. Everybody was bringing tribute. David was the prince that ruled the world. The gold shields, well, they belong to David now. So much bronze. Solomon made the bronze sea and the pillars and those other big deal things. He was defeating people that they thought could never be defeated. And their answer was, hey, we're going to bring in more gold, silver, and bronze, and maybe he'll leave some of us alive, along with the gold, silver he carried off from all these nations. Boy, Moab never learned their lesson, did they, about maybe not being so greedy? But look, So everybody's doing it. Ammonites, Philistines, Amalekites. It's the Gibberim. It's the Nephilim thing that bothers me, Amalek, Amalekites. Were they the one of the giants that they always talk about? Hmm. I thought there would be more. Amalek, staunch enemy, grandson of Esau. So he's not one of the tall giants. The Torah, that I never hear a good thing about it. Never hear a good thing about it. Let's go back to so they had that. Abishai struck down 18,000 in the Valley of Salt. Salt was food, salt was money. David, the Lord made David victorious wherever he went, reigned over all of Israel, administered justice and righteousness for all the people. That's the God. Let's go, man. First Kings, let's go chapter 5, 6. Things were sketchy at times. Preparing for the temple, Solomon anointed king in his father's place, and there was tons of drama. As you're well aware, there are wars waged on all sides. With my father, he could not build a house. Going to leave it to Solomon. Behold, I plan to build a house. David has left me a Lego type world of buildings. And he said, son, do it. Get it done. He's going to build the house for my name. So they did it. Servants will haul the logs. My servants. Hiram sent a reply. I've received your message and I'm ready to make money. I will do all you desire regarding the cedar, cypress. I want to show you the Bible doesn't have time to list all of the people that had to work on it, but you can extrapolate. The people that were going to take care of the cedar and the cypress, they would need whatever a core of wheat is, they need 20,000 of them, as well as that much pure olive oil. You can, Solomon conscripted a labor force, an army, 30,000 men, but it seemed like a fair deal. Monthly shifts, 10,000 apiece. These guys were in charge of the forced labor. 70,000 people, 70,000 families of men of working age to carry things. That's what a porter does. Maybe they're porting it across the river. 80,000 stonecutters. It doesn't have to mention you're going to need at least 1,000 knife sharpeners or stone sharpeners, because they're going to be quarrying large, costly stones, dressed stones. And when they build, it's going to be 60 by 20 by 30. Can you get any more sacred geometry for me? No, you can't. But that's only going to be one, because the temple is constructed using finishing stones. Man, I hope I'm sharing the screen. It looks like it. Star forts. Of course they use finished stones. They could even move them if they have to. They're cut at the quarry because the queen told David, I don't want to hear no hammer or chisel. When you're fixing up the star fort with your newfangled temples, I don't want to hear no iron tool while it's being built. And Hiram said, that's not going to be a problem. It's not even going to affect the price. Maybe that's apocryphal, but it's something like that had to happen. Beams, planks. What's in First Samuel 5? Let's just jump around. I know I have Second Samuel chapter 21 pulled up. You're going to love it. You won't be able to get enough of it. Oh my goodness. The Philistines captured the Ark of God? Oh my goodness. This is crazy. They moved it to Gath. That's where Goliath is from and his brothers? Oh yeah, they're Philistine people. We're going to look at that. It calls them Ha'adam, men, Ish. Yeah. The the terrible clown giants. It couldn't be saved. They're as human as you or me. They're only tall people. The Gibborim, the mighty men. Well, God calls himself the most high Gibborim Elohim. So I'd like you to put that on some sort of demon cloud. David's mighty men. Come on, man. Did I look at Second Sam 5? Did I mean to look at Second Sam 5? David was anointed. David conquers Jerusalem. Jerusalem was already a town. Melchizedek had it long before in Abraham's time. He reigned 33 years. Are there people that are going to say he was a Gnostic? He must have been a theosophist for the Illuminati. You have 33 vertebrates. Oh, no. Oh, no. Huh. Here's an interesting thing. Whoever attacks the Jebusites must use the water shaft to reach the lame and blind who are despised by David? That seems kind of harsh. Considering I'm going to be trying to take care of the lame and the blind and the old. But there is something about the temple being, uh, for Aaron's descendants, certain people chosen by Lot without blemish, the sacrifice. We'll look at it. We're doing Bible study on the fly. Don't you worry. Look at what I got here. All right, I had the Amalekites, strike one. I have this ready to YouTube, but First Chronicles. We're going to be all over these guys, man, because these people, Esau. We're going to get into a little bit of the genealogies, the kings. Who are these people? Hushman. But as we go through all of these people, we'll find out, a lot of them were tall. Obed, the father of Jesse. 23 cities in the land of Gilead. There was almost no end to battles over the land, the wars. They went out to war. They documented everything. As it's popular to say now, they kept the receipts. That's all missing now. So many different things to study that aren't in there. Nathan, he was a good one. Another one with the 33 years. Second Samuel, David's revenge. These are the ones. They're a battle at Gath. Big deal. A man who was very tall had 6 fingers on each hand, 6 toes on each foot, much like that pitcher for the baseball who used to be on the White Sox and some other teams. He bounced around for years. These were giants. He Once again there was a battle at Gob with the Philistines. Elhanan, son of Jair the Bethlehemite, killed the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, the shaft of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. There's never any demon clown things with the giants, the Nephilim, the Gibberine, because the Gibberine, the Nephilim are the good guys most of the time. And we don't know jack except Nimrod was, obviously a good hunter and somebody who could rally a crowd. He was a mighty man. He was the brother. He was the brother. There was a battle. He was a descendant of the Raphaim. But this all came down because David gets old. He'd been ruling a long time. And now it wasn't as easy as like, come on, Goliath, I'm going to get you. David became exhausted. I'll start that verse. Once again, the Philistines waged war against Israel, and David and his servants went down and fought against the Philistines. But David became exhausted. Ibishai Benab, a descendant of the Rephaim, whose bronze spear weighed all this, 300 shekels, and who was bearing a new sword, resolved to kill David. But Abishai, son of Zeruiah, came to his aid, struck the Philistine, and it doesn't say killed it. Nope. You must never go out with us to battle, so that the lamp of Israel might not be extinguished. There was a man of great stature, 6 fingers. Uh, he's a man. This means he's a male. It is the reason he's like you and me. He's a man that if he had to get married, he should not divorce. He should quit fighting against the God of Israel. But you know how you can get whipped up into that home team thing, like uh, we're from the Packers and we couldn't be prouder, that kind of thing. You got a man. It's a man. Giants are human too. They are not spirit clown, Nephilim, half human demigods. That's explained elsewhere in the Bible where the Titans came from. 2 creations, one in Genesis 1, one in Genesis 2, one God, not three. The mystery of the New Testament wasn't that, oh my goodness, Moses was wrong. There's 3 gods. No, the mystery of the New Testament was Abraham's seed was for all nations, and the Israelites can be saved, and they're the spiritual Israel from the Gentiles was possible all along, and that some of them will stand at the great white throne with their conscience of the Gentiles, accusing or excusing them, says the scripture. He had these things on his feet and his hands, but he was a man. Uh, if you're a man, he was a man. It's that, it's not like a ship. You use that when it's a river, it's a thing. But when you get down here, and to Seth was born, to him forever also he is flesh. And that's Genesis 6:3. is the same people that they love to use in their nonsensical thing. So the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with whether they're tall, powerful, strong hunters, or they're more like Jacob, or these guys that they don't grow the big beard and have the hair on their back and things like that. They're struggle to grow a beard, but it doesn't really bother them that much most of the time. But it's talking about regular men. It, only the apocryphal and Enoch could soup this up and make it ready for primetime Atlantis. This was a hard verse we were looking at, wasn't it? On that day of the attack, this is not as bad as the New International Version, nowhere near as bad. I don't mind the New Living Translation. Sometimes, on the day of the attack, David said to his troop, I hate those. Oh, it's the lame and blind Jebusites. That might just be a derogatory term he was crawling at them. Maybe David doesn't really hate the people I want to help. Whoever attacks them should strike by going, okay, we know what a water tunnel is. We know it leads to a cistern with great big pillars holding it up. They're storing water in their star forts, baby. Huh. Want to get another one? How about that Berean standard? Sometimes they put the Berean literal, but I wish they did more often. On that day, he said, whoever attacks the Jebusites must use the water shaft to reach the lame and blind who are despised by David. I can see how much better I think this is at explaining that probably everybody called the Jebusites lame and blind. What was David supposed to be the guy that's going like, are we politically correct about these people we're going to go and destroy? I don't think they, this is where David wanted to live. It was, he's taking back over Jerusalem. I don't think he cared about it. And of course, there is no water tunnel going into what they call that fake Jerusalem today. Get into the water shaft. Is it only one? Oh, there's one. The water tunnel, the gutter. And the water spouts and waves in a more poetic use in Psalm. And it's not the strongest of root words. Lame. So it's a one-time thing. Those Jebusites, Strong's Concordance in your Hebrew, 6455, Passaic. The lame and the blind, if there's any blemish in them, I think he's just calling them all worthless. He didn't like them, You're not going to go like, these guys are pretty cool, but we need to take over their town because, well, you know how God is leading us. No, they were the bad guys. But they're dealing with giants, tall people. So he's beating these people. The Philistines came up yet again. Go up against the sound of the balsam trees. Rouse yourself. I bet they're still kicking some giant butt here. David again gathered all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. He went down to bring up the ark. Oh, this is where Uzzah went down. Maybe we should go the other way because this is a story in and of itself for another Sunday school. Let's see what they were doing in 4. Oh no, Ishbosheth gets murdered. Were you fighting any king or any giants here? No, David was just being some ruthless revenge for these guys. Ishbosheth. I think Ish means kind of like the man of. I'm not sure what Bosheth means. Let's go back one more chapter and we'll look at some of these. David became greater and greater, but we're off that now. Let's see what I had here. So here's the man of the field, the skillful hunter. This is Jacob. You know, he's a man. His brother was a hairy man and he was smooth. Jacob was smooth, but one was blessed and one was not. You can't judge a book by its cover. Is it this one? Let's look for Nimrod in Genesis 11 here. The whole world had one language. They're going to build a star fort city. They're supposed to spread out. The Lord divided the language, scattered them over the face of the earth. Now, was this Nimrod's idea? Here's these people, there's like, oh no, there's Magog. That's the Jethites. A lot of work going on here by humans. Cush, a human, fathered Nimrod. Or are we going to go back to that? A bad angel did it to Nimrod, or was Cush not? Listed in these genealogies. Human, and he became a Gibborim. You need to look that up. The mighty hunter. And this is not being scriptural when you run to the book of Enoch and start interpreting their version of it, Gibber. It's a part of the Gibborim. You're a mighty one. He was a mighty one. Look, Nimrod's a mighty one. This is somebody that was in the Lord of Hosts army. He was a Gibborim. The Gedite was a mighty Gibborim of valor. That's only part of it. That's only 42. But it's a root word that works. It means tall people. Somebody that can influence a crowd, be impressive. There were mighty men of old. God is going to provide leaders. And after you get out of Genesis 10, who is the great and mighty, terrible God? Is he a Gibborim or not? He popped his scratchy voice out. Oh my goodness, I hope I don't sound like one of those guys that work in the Congress. They get that, hey, what's going on? Elohim are the gods. The Lord of Lords. They're talking about the Most High God. The mighty, the great God. Ha'el. The Gibborim God. It's the Gibborim God. You want to read it? We need to read it. Let's go to 10:17. For the Lord your God is the God of gods, the Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, the awesome God, who is not partial and takes no bribes. He has to be alluding in my kind of humble opinion to Psalm 82, where he judges them for what? Why is he judging the Titans? The Elohim that were divided there in Deuteronomy chapter 32. See and sing the song of Moses. So there was a divine assembly of Titans. They were Elohim. They weren't little g gods. And he rendered judgment among those Elohims that had said, we can do as good as the Father does in heaven. Just give us a chance to rule. Satan taught us. And he did. And after a while, he said, how long are you going to keep judging them unjustly? You show partiality to the wicked, you dirty, no good, dirty dog. You didn't defend the cause of the weak and the fatherless. He's judging you, musical crescendo. Why didn't the other Elohim uphold the rights of the afflicted and the oppressed or rescue the weak and the needy? There you go again. They didn't care. They didn't know. They didn't understand. They wander in the darkness. They listen to the first sinner, Satan. That's why Jesus came to earth, was to deal with a sin in heaven. They were warned, you're Elohim. You are all sons of that most high Gibborim God, the one spirit God who's teaching a lesson to those spirit angels that it looks like the apostles are probably going to judge, but they're going to die in the flood by the glittering sword, reserved in judgment. The stones can cry out. Oh my goodness. And the ethne are going to receive their inheritance. You got to be the nations, all the goy. Oh my goodness. Yay for us. Well, it took long enough, but the in from the beginning thing, I will call them beloved that were unloved. Thanks, Dad. How about that? But there's a lot to look at, because if you look at verse 1, there's no small g gods in this thing here. Oh, he's talking about a small g God. Prove it. He judges these gods. Okay. They're Elohim. Gods now turned to stone, mountain size, some of them. But they were created gods. They died like men. Are you still hung up with Kenneth Copeland and you can be a god? You just put your hand on your head and give me $20. Repeat after me. It's okay to give Kenneth Copeland my bank account checking number. No, it's not. God. It's always going to be God's. And this is a divine congregation. You want to look at what a congregation is? It's pretty straightforward here. It's the gathering of the people. Yeah, we got a gathering of the people. Anybody? Anybody want to argue with that? And he's going to judge among the gods. El, a god, a Gibborim god. He was the mighty. Well, Melchizedek was a Gibborim worshiper of God. He had Jerusalem before David. He didn't take it from David. Somehow those lame sicko Jebusites got it. The Most High Gibborim God, the Most High God. It's a qualifier. When you want to say he's the God, Most High God, he's the Most High Spirit God that's everywhere, always at the same time, knowing everything. He's all powerful, all knowing, omnipresent, Spirit, water dividing God. Knock it off. He judges among he they should have been nicer to the wicked, to the poor and the needy, instead of showing that favoritism. But he made them gods, but the Bible is clear. It's so clear. When you read it, study it, there's one God who became manifest to give the example of how a man acts. Hey, Zach Mac, you know what? That one email didn't open up. I never got to see the video. You showed me a couple of things about uh, the ultralights, but the video didn't work. If you could check that out, that link, because I was kind of interested in that. Yeah, this will be better, but I don't know. Maybe go check them out. Oh no. Could it be true? I was wrapping up, right? Because the whole Gibberim Nephilim thing, that's all such total nonsense. It's all going to the Atlantis. It's what Eric von Daniken and them have been planning since the 70s when they were filming those Moonraker movies where, you know, the Mandela effect was, okay, film this one with the braces, film the other one without the braces. Yeah, it's all one plan. Like Stanley Kubrick was a hero exposing things. He made that movie, The Clockwork Orange. It was like rated X, but at the time, because they showed 3 scenes with some pretty graphic naked girls, but he interviewed over 1,000 girls for 3 years to cast that. He was one of them. He was blackmailed. Now you're going to do this for us. Stop looking for the good guys anywhere but in Scripture and from those who have been tested by God and shown worthy, that have no intent of going on saying, well, maybe I should listen to these guys about Haziel being the, proof that Enoch was the true son of man. There are so many holes in all of those apocryphals. You got to stay off it. You have to know the mud flood was Armageddon, flat earth nation, golden age past. We've all had the Hegelian dialectic. Somehow we survived, our parents, grandparents, great grandparents. Somebody was in on it and said, save those people, put them in front of a desk with a globe, let them love the Jesuits, let them love NASA, DARPA, and war. It's a wide road, and they have it, and you know it. You need to start worrying about what's going to happen before this next midterm. That's this year already. In the meantime, I'm hoping that at one point you've been called, chosen, elected to make it seem like you're making a decision to confess with your mouth what you believe in your heart. I hope that you believe in your heart that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. And some people, they're sheep to him. They hear his voice. They're drawn, called, adopted. And to prove they're not blotted out of the book of life, they don't let go of the plow. They don't let go of the plow. They know they have a burden. It's light. They know they're yoked as a servant. It's easy when you're looking forward to eternity. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Don't act like that in Sunday school. Nakame. Adios, amigos. That's how I